Welcome to the Poetry Box Live and Happy New Year. Our next featured poet is Pasquale Trozzolo, author of Before the Distance, which happened to be one of our top 5 selling chapbooks this year. So congratulations, Pasquale, for that. Pasquale is an entrepreneur and founder of Trozzolo Communications Group, one of the leading advertising and public relations firms in the Midwest. In addition to building his business, he also spent time as a race car driver and grad school professor. Now, with too much time on his hands, he continues to complicate his life by living out as many retirement cliches as possible. He's up to the P's. Before the pandemic, he only shared his poems with a handful of close friends. Since sheltering at home, he has begun to share what he calls the virus poems. Please welcome Pasquale Trozzolo.
Well, thank you, Shawn. And thanks to each of you for spending some time with us this evening. It's an honor to share this Zoom stage with Marcia and Kathy. Kathy, your words were beautiful. You made my task a little more difficult having to follow you, so thanks. Tonight I'm going to read to you a series of poems from my chapbook, which of course is available from thepoetrybox.com if you haven't got it yet. But as Shawn mentioned, these are my virus poems. And the first one I'm going to read to you is called, it's a short poem called Reputation. And I wrote Reputation when the pandemic was really just winding up, you know, back when it was still sort of fun. I found myself, like a lot of you, spending a lot of time on social media. And so I wrote Reputation. I haven't been this nice to people since ever. Admittedly, I'm mostly calling, texting, Facebooking, emailing people I like, mostly. And Facebook, come on, do I really like it or just being nice? If this virus doesn't kill me, it's going to ruin my respectability. Well, after a week or two of sheltering in place, I became a bit more reflective. I'm usually pretty optimistic about my past, but I began to wonder, could I have been better? Could I have contended more? What did I miss? So I sat down and wrote this little poem called Contender. Whose smile did I ignore? What cry did I not hear? Whose hand did I not take? What kiss did never tell? What love did we not make? How much is never known? What love we let escape? What new could have been? What wonder could have flowed? Well, you know, once you start down that rabbit hole of wonder, it's hard to stop. And so I sort of got into that whatever happened to state of mind. And I wrote this poem called Do You? Remember me? Forgotten yet there, cemented in your past? Are you alive and well? Do you remember that song, our song, Precious and Few? I remember you and our moments, quiet and blue like the sky. Did you find love? Did you find your way home? Do you remember? Well, one morning, another few weeks in, I woke up in a sort of why state of mind. You know, like all of us, like, why is this happening? When, you know, why? But I realized that I'd been spending most of my life chasing the question why, and perhaps it was the wrong question. So I wrote the poem called About Why. I don't like why. It's so demanding and discouraging. Why should why matter so much? When is so much better? Why is the question? When is the answer? Like when we kiss, not why we might. Like when we are born, not why we die. Like when we write, not why we try. So then it was a beautiful early spring morning, and I walked outside in the backyard and wandered around and saw what I hoped would be, I hope to gain a feeling of new beginnings that comes with early spring. But when I took out my notebook and the pencil hit the page, I wanted to write about winter. And so I wrote this poem called Before the Distance, which became the title of the chapbook. Where did you go? It was winter before the distance. Why is a lonely spring already here? Some may not miss you, but me, I do. Winter's end is my favorite time, like a lost lover resisting, warming, and cool again, unpredictable, full of surprise, false starts and wild blooms, all knuckleballs and chances. I want winter again, before the distance, with a true winter's end, without the distance. Just the wonder and glory of a good-natured fight. Where did you go, winter? Where? Now this next one, it still makes me a bit weepy, and I know my wife is nervous right now. I wrote this one for my granddaughter when her high school graduation was postponed, and the losses seemed to pile on for all of us, but especially for the class of 2020. So I wrote this short expression of loss. It's simply called Graduation for Sophia. Although she did not ask, questions hang in the air, like fog clouding what comes next, waiting patiently to consume. Nothing is clear, only mist. Will we see gowns? Will caps fly? Will we remain suspended, unable to escape a distant stage, our only set? Although she did not ask, questions remained. Where are my flowers? Will there be music? When is my party? This next one is, I think, my attempt at the time to get rid of my fear. I thought, man, I'll just pour it onto the page here and I won't be afraid anymore. It didn't work. But this poem is called On Sale. I'm scared, worried all the time. I hide it well sometimes. I worry about how much I worry publicly now. Worry and I are well acquainted, even friends. My biggest fear, not worrying. That's terror. It feels right, scared. I was made for it. Perhaps I can capitalize, sell it. Would you buy my fear? Well, COVID felt and still does like it just falls from the sky, unrelenting, creating a storm of danger. And so I wrote this poem titled Slip. Sleet falls, driven to assault me. Expert precision astounds, piles my path with slip, pelts me in a storm of dangerous possibilities. I'm right to be afraid. Where is my snow? Soft and free, beauty in each flake. Come, snow, take my sleet away. Stop this freezing arrest. Where is my snow, pure fluff? Where? Well, you remember when it was going to be over by Easter or Memorial Day or the 4th of July or Thanksgiving or Christmas or New Year's Eve? This one's simply called Mind Games. In my mind, I still have places to go, people to meet, hands to hold, vacations. Promise of normal chaos tempts me so, with reasons to believe lonely passes, melts this trance that infects so virulently. Are these facts to trust, or just too deep in wine that brings hope? Are these footsteps for me to follow or fear? Are we now coming back to life, or is this our true decline? Well, one morning, sitting on the deck, I realized that being stuck at home might not be so bad. This is about a morning I was not lonely. It's called Cue the Day. Is that any way to say good morning? That pose, that smile, that touch, that kiss? What did I do to deserve this? Am I still dreaming? Now I'm going to read several poems that are not part of the book. They're a little more recent work. This next one I wrote this past fall, sitting under a tree with the leaves starting to fall and observing the look and sound of what fall meant. And this one's called Fallen. I think it might be about my mother. You know that sound, that light scrape of leaf once fallen? Like an old transistor radio switched on, it crackles, passing along the street with grace and a gentle disturbance. Traveling lightly, it changes direction so easily. Does it know its destination? Does it know it's already dead? Yet still it travels and crackles and seduces me. I want to follow, but can't keep up, catching only fragments. Does this fallen leaf, now out of sight, know I miss her? I remember how it moved, sharp, crisp, and stirring, and that crackle. To hear it again, I cry. This next one is written out of my envy for painters. I think it would be great to be stuck at home with paint and brushes and canvas and to be able to just cover up so much. I think if I were a painter, I'd be an abstract expressionist, so I could pretend not to care what anybody thinks of my work. This one's called Portrait. Already it's been a day, 10 a.m., and I can murder a gin and tonic. She started on me real early, red first, smearing, rubbing, practically pouring it over me. Then scarcely without pause, she started on the green. Green. Yes, a gin and tonic would be nice if she could just get my mouth right, and the bottle and a lime. That's what the green must be for, lime. Look at those strokes of hers. She's on fire this morning, breathless. Wait, why am I naked and fat? I thought she loved me, but now I see she's still angry. How many years, how much paint will it take before she gets over it? It was just that one time, and it was abstract. It didn't mean anything. It was abstract. This one's a little bit about loneliness and worry. No matter what our station is in life, we all worry and we all get lonely. This one's titled My Hawk. Does the hawk mind flying alone, wondering, will they wait at the nest or fly on without him? Are clouds his only company? Even as he flies, he cries, silently so as to fool. He's higher now, but not less worried, just more practiced. Should he admit his state? Is this it? This next one is a true story, which I can't say about all my poems. It's about an experience on vacation. It happened many years ago, but the memories are still quite vivid. It's called Vacation Girl. Doors open. She enters, captures me like a riptide I can't escape. Rescue is what I need. Bronzed was the first word that came to mind, though breathless I could not speak. The second word I can't put down for fear of arrest. Singed, I edge closer. She's right there. I can smell her, see her glisten. As if to invent possibilities, she speaks first, whispers one word, now. I take her hand. We walk towards the elevator, enter, doors close. We embrace, grabbing, pulling, sweating, craving. We both know this is headed for unexplored pleasure, days of it. This feels dangerous and delicious. We can barely contain our desire. Then we heard them, almost forgotten if only for the moment. Mom, I'm hungry. Dad, can we go back to the pool? Eyes meet, a silent message. Later, honey, later. This next short one is inspired by a friend of mine that we used to meet for lunch when we were able to meet for lunch. It's always interesting with him. This one's called Old Man and the Sea. Like something out of a sailor's dream, she rushes by without so much as a glance. Despite Herculean efforts, she's too much. My eyes follow like a construction worker. As she walks, my heart beats in rhythm to her feet. Her summer-colored hair waves in sync with her hands, silk hands. My thoughts perch on her like frost on a rose. Without warning, she turns, then speaks. Can I get you another drink? Shame, old man, shame. Well, this past year has been really something. In the middle of the greatest health crisis in over 100 years, there was the terrible things we all witnessed around the social justice movement, and yet it offered us hope that maybe something really would change. Some of my writing, like I'm sure almost every writer, turned to a bit of protest. This is a poem I wrote about living here in the Midwest, in the heartland, where we sometimes feel a bit too protected from things. And it's called When in Kansas. As if nothing changed, I stand in the sun's warmth, feeling the touch of gentle winds, seeing coneflowers bloom across the fields, hearing meadowlarks sing in romantic ritual. On my Kansas land, acres of distance protects me, safe in middle America. My prayers and I live complicit in this state, at home with silence for too long. Now a distant voice scrapes the morning sunshine into shards of anxiety, while injustice hides among the wheat, and whispers drown truth, grasping for breath. And I can't breathe freely on the prairie any longer. Questions like gathering clouds fill my sky and beg courage. When will we no longer look away? When will we treasure life and liberty for all? When will we be uninfected from this virus of injustice? When will we recover from our safety? When will we ever be free? When will justice for all find Kansas? When will we choose truth over delusions? When in Kansas? When? Well, I'm going to close with this next short one. I want to say to Shawn, thanks again for all you do for all of us. And thank you all for joining us tonight. This final poem, I think, reflects our current state, and it's called On Hold. My skin is splattered with gray. Outside, the sun warms only half my face. I am faded, no colors remain. Cold, I shake, like an ancient bridge rattled by a heavy load. Will I come apart? Will you hold me? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pasquale. That was moving and funny and everything a reading should be. So good job on your first reading. And I loved it when you said, I think this one's about my mother. And then you had that ending line that was just killer. And then somebody literally joined the room and I let them in. And then you said, why am I naked? Wait, why am I naked? And I thought the timing of that was just perfect. So whoever that was, I hope you enjoyed that the rest of the poem. And I really wish this was a live reading because I could see everybody laughing. I could see all the little thumbs up and applause coming up. And it was Robert and I were both sitting here cracking up. So it was a lot of fun. So thanks for bringing some fun to the pandemic. Well done.